Amazon's new FBA inbound placement service fees are going live in a couple of weeks. Walmart's integrating generative AI. Vertical video PPC ads are now live. Helium 10 releases its most requested tool of 2023 for sellers. These and many more stories on today's Weekly Buzz. How cool is that? Pretty cool, I think. Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Serious Sellers Podcast by Helium 10. I am your host, Bradley Sutton, and this is the show that is our Helium 10 Weekly Buzz, where we give you a rundown of all the goings-on and news articles in the e-commerce world, and we let you know what new Helium 10 features there are, and we give you training tips of the week that'll give you serious strategies for serious sellers of any level in the e-commerce world. Let's see what's buzzing. Got a few articles today, but a little later on, I'm going to give you guys a complete breakdown of that new FBA inbound inventory fee service that is coming out soon. Some sellers are saying they might have to pay double what they used to. Is that really true? I'm going to break down some things inside of Project X to show you what the fees are going to be. And make sure to stay to the end because we also have an exciting new tool announcement that's in beta for Helium 10 members. All right, let's go ahead and hop into the news. The first article today is from UPI.com, and it's entitled, California Man Receives Dozens of Amazon Packages He Never Ordered. Does that sound familiar to you? This sounds like things that were happening years ago that maybe some of us thought, went away. But basically this guy in California yesterday, he says, he received dozens of mysterious Amazon packages at his home over the course of 6 months. Now, first, it just started with a couple of envelopes, he said, but then a lot more products were coming. All right, the name on the label wasn't his name, it was somebody else's name. And he at first thought that, just maybe there was a mistake that happened. But more and more packages soon are arriving. Everything from, says, solar panel cables, video game consoles, digital picture frames, portable spas. And then he said he eventually just stopped opening them and just simply sent them back. All right. Somehow his card actually started getting charged. Now that's separate than what I'm talking about, or what this guy I think is talking about here. But basically this is the black hat method of brushing. Even this article talks about brushing. And like I said, this is like circa 2020 when this thing happened. And then this article says, hey, brushing involves Amazon sellers sending packages to random addresses so they can artificially inflate their number of positive reviews. So the way that brushing works is kind of like these sellers, they get somebody's real address and then they just use all these different Amazon accounts and send products to that address. And then that allows them to do like a verified review. For me, I wouldn't be sending it back. Me as an Amazon seller, I'm going to think like an Amazon seller. If one of those companies gets my address and they're going to use me for brushing, give me all those products. I'm going to put it right back on Amazon and make some money off of it. But that's interesting. I wonder if this is just an isolated case or is brushing making a comeback? Hopefully Amazon cracks down on that because, it shouldn't be doing any of these shady behaviors, in my opinion. Next article is from Amazon Seller Central, and it was a news article that came out. It says, increase sales with new metrics available on the Build Your Brand page. All right, so this is something that a lot of us might not even know is in Seller Central. All right, you have to if you're using a sub account, you actually can't see it off the bat. You have to go and to the admin account and give yourself the rights to this. But basically this, what Amazon announces, hey, there's going to be 4 new key metrics that allow you to measure your brand's performance: branded search ratio, star rating, brand conversion rate, and repeat customer ratio. All right. So there's going to be actionable things that you can do. Go to the Build Your Brand section of Seller Central, scroll down, and then if for the brands that you have brand registry, you are going to be able to see for the different countries, these new metrics. Again, branded search ratio. Here's one about the star rating. It's going to give you a whole bunch of insights on things that it wants you to do, how to increase your conversion rate, etc. Next article is going to Forbes now, and this one is entitled The Amazing Ways Walmart is Using Generative AI. Now, a lot of this didn't have to do with Walmart sellers, but if you scroll down in this article, there's an interesting tidbit here where it says here under the section improving the shopping experience, it says there's also a new text to shop feature that lets customers ask for what they want by texting Walmart. All right. So there's a simple text chat powered by AI technology. Customers can search for items, add or remove products from their cart, reorder products, and schedule delivery or pickup. Like Walmart seems to be beating Amazon on this one at least. But if this is only in beta, well, you can't really say that it's beating Amazon if it's not widespread. But that's interesting. Like, will that increase sales for third-party sellers using the Walmart app? If people can just start texting and ask questions, will Amazon roll out their version of this, which has also been rumored? Another thing that Walmart says they're launching is they're introducing a new online AI shopping assistant designed to help shoppers find the best product for their needs. So this AI is going to recommend relevant and related products based on, like, you're throwing a certain party or you have a certain age kid who has a need, and you just, instead of like searching for keywords, you kind of like explain the situation and they'll give suggestions. Now, part of me, the skeptic, is like, I can't imagine how this is going to work because what? I'm going to say, hey, I've got a 19-year-old kid who got his first new car. What products would he like? Is it really going to know exactly what? But then again, guys, think about it. How many times does this happen to you where, I don't know, you type in a search, or sometimes even you just are having a conversation with somebody, you go back to your phone and you're getting hit with ads like about that very thing that you were just asking. It's got to be AI doing that. I don't know. But so who knows? Maybe AI is a lot more advanced than I give it credit for. Next article is from Amazon Advertising, and it's entitled Sponsored Brand Video Introduces Vertical Video Creatives on the Advertising Console and Amazon API. So now when you're creating sponsored brand video ads, you are going to have an option to choose from creative assets. It says upload video horizontal or vertical. All right. So a lot of people have had access to this for a few months now, I guess in beta, but now this is the official announcement. It looks like it's rolling out to everybody else. I've heard a lot of good feedback on how the vertical video looks, especially obviously in mobile browsers, which is what, or the mobile app, which is what it's designed for. So take a look at your advertising console. Do you have that available? It says it should be available across North America, South America, Europe, Middle East, and Asia Pacific for sellers for that. Next article, going back to Seller Central again, and it's entitled Instant Replacements Are Available for Seller Fulfilled Returns. Starting on this week, buyers will be able to request instant replacement for items sent using the prepaid return label program. You see me shaking my head, those of you watching on YouTube. There were, on this Seller Central article, 468 downvotes and only 55 upvotes. So this is something that if you're doing FBM, like myself, it's like might be a little scared. What now? Just a customer can just instantly get a replacement and I have to ship it to them and they have like 30 days to return it. They might not return it. I got to start keeping track of if they return it, if they return the right product. But we know, that Amazon is very customer centric. And so I guess, this really shouldn't surprise us. All right, now let's do a deep dive, guys, into the 2024 FBA inbound placement service fee. This is just one of the couple things that Amazon, or a lot of Amazon sellers, are very scared about. This new inbound placement service fee, and then the low inventory fee that's going to come a little bit later. Guys, this is coming now March 1st. All right. So you look up, if you want to get some detail on this, just go into your Seller Central and type in FBA inbound placement service, and you'll get this article. But let's do a deep dive into some of these things that it says. Now, basically what's going to happen is that you are going to start getting charged if you are only sending to one location, for example. All right, you're going to get a per unit charge based on the size of your product and based on where it's going. West Coast, middle, or Midwest, I don't know, central area, or East Coast. Now, this is going to be interesting because according to this article, this service fee is going to hit you 45 days after your shipment is received. So you've got a little leeway in there. So the first charges are not actually going to happen until mid-April, but it's going to be in effect starting in March. Now, the only way to completely skip this fee is if you accept Amazon's suggestion to ship to 4 different locations. I mean, that's only if Amazon tells you to ship to 4 different locations. For me, in the past, a lot of times it's sometimes 2 locations, sometimes 3. Sometimes it tells me to only ship to one. So like, I'm wondering how that's going to be. Like, is Amazon going to like force me to send it to one and I still have to pay no matter what? But if you send to 4 or more locations, Amazon is going to waive this fee. If you ship to 2 or 3 locations only, you are going to get a surcharge per unit that you are sending to Amazon. And if you only send to one location, it is going to actually be the highest fee. Now, how does this affect sellers? Well, everybody has different preferences. I'm here in Southern California. What do I want to do? I want to send to one location and I want it to be in Southern California. It's going to get there super fast, right? And the shipping is very, like, sometimes half what it is if I ship it like all the way to a FBA, DC, and New York or Florida or something like that. But now I've got to start thinking, what do I choose? Do I choose to send it to multiple locations? Is it going to be expensive? Am I going to get a surcharge? Or should I just send it to one location and I save on the shipping fee because it's so close, but I just pay this extra fee? Let's start breaking down what some of these fees are. I'm not going to go into detail on this table here. You guys looking at YouTube, you can take a look at the screen here, or just go into your Seller Central. But for example, like if you have a small size box, size 15 by 12 by 0.75, less than 1 pound, you're trying to send everything to one location, you are going to get a 21 cent to 30 cent charge per unit. If you're sending to 2 or more, that same package, you're going to get 12 cents to 21 cents per unit. And like I said, if you send to 4 locations or more, it is no fee. All right. So let's go ahead. What I did was I actually went to this is what I suggest you guys do too. Go into your Seller Central and go into your shipments and look at your old shipments to see what's going on. For example, here is one of my shipments that I did late last year. This was for, I believe, the large coffin shelf. So this is an oversized box, and they had me I only sent 20 units for whatever reason. I think it was right before I ran out, and it had me send to 2 locations. All right. So 2 locations, and one of these was in Washington. Okay. So as you can see right here, for these 10 units, because this is a huge oversized box, I got charged $25. All right. So about $2.50 per unit. All right. The other 10, it had me send all the way to Delaware, all the way across the country. And it actually cost me $35 for those same amount, 10 units. All right. So you can see how much more it was by sending it to the opposite coast. And the one in Washington that's not even close to me. Like I said, I'm in Southern California. So if I were to send it to California, it would have been cheaper, right? It might have been like less than $20, right? Now, what you do to calculate this out, you go type into your search in Seller Central, revenue calculator. All right, type in revenue calculator. We're going to have this in Helium 10 eventually too. But for now, go ahead and use the Seller Central. It's a little bit more difficult to use, but it has the details you need for this new fees. Go into Seller Central, find your product, this one that I just did, and put how many units you're going to send. So I'm going to say, hey, I'm going to go ahead and inbound 20 units of this product. And now, if I were to ship it to one location only, let's say it has me ship everything to Spokane, Washington, I'm going to pay $2.70 per unit to ship this to Amazon. Do you remember what it was in Washington? It was $2.50. That's more than double just for shipping to one location. Now, in this shipment, I shipped it to 2 locations, you remember? So if I ship it to 2 locations, I just hit this partial shipment splits, and it brings down the price to $1.57. But still, that's now $31 more I'm paying for shipping. Do you remember total on those 2 shipments? I only paid $55. Well, now that $55 shipment just became $80 a shipment. All right. And that's only 20 units. That means I'm paying $4 just to get it from my warehouse to Amazon. So you can see that there's a decision you have to make. Like, what if I could send everything to like San Bernardino, right? If I send everything to San Bernardino and I pay $2.70, but I save a whole bunch of money on my shipping, the shipping price would have to be $2.70 cheaper than what it would cost to send to multiple locations into the East Coast in order for it to be worth it. But again, it's not just the price. Now you got to think, well, if I send it to Delaware, it might take like 6 days to get there, another few days to check in. If I send it to California, it'll get there the next day, maybe just a couple days to check in. So there's all these things you are going to have to start kind of like calculating it out. Let me show you another example. Another shipment I did, this was actually from this year, was the smaller coffin shelves, and I sent like 80 units total, all right? Now take a look. I sent one shipment to California, 30 units, cost $25, all right? So like what, 80 cents per unit? At the same time, it had me send some more to a different warehouse in California. It was only 10 units for $8.57, so 85 cents. And then lastly, it still was in the West, but it had me send another 40 units to Henderson, Nevada, and it cost me $37, so a little over 90 cents. All right, so the average for this 80 units, I was paying I paid about 80 cents per unit to ship, and I didn't pay any fees, right? If I do the same exact shipment after March 1st, conversely, here is one more shipment I did separately, and I sent 100 units all together, and it went to Southern California, and it only cost me $70. All right, so that's 70 cents, about 15 cents cheaper per unit than those other ones I sent all over the place. All right, so again, these were two separate shipments, very similar in scope. One had me send to 3, one had me send to 1. What's going to happen if I have this same scenario in a couple of weeks starting in March? Let's go back to that revenue calculator. I go ahead and put the coffin shelf in here, and I say, hey, 100 units, the same exact shipment to California, to the West, 68 cents per unit. Do you remember what it cost me originally? 70 cents. This is doubling the cost of what I have to send, or how much it cost me to send it in the old days. Literally doubling my cost. Now, what about that other one where it had me send to 3 different locations? All right, it's still not 4. It didn't have me send it to 4. So I have to hit the partial shipment splits. I select 3 locations, and now I see that it's going to cost 33 cents extra. It's not double, but now my price goes from 80 cents to $1.20, which is almost the same as the 70 cents plus 70 cents that I pay if I send it to 1. Is your mind kind of like spinning in circles with all these things you guys have to calculate now? I'm sure there's going to be hopefully easier ways that Helium 10 can help you decide which one is going to be better to use. But again, you can't just blindly do your shipments anymore. You have got to really think about what's going on. All right, let me know in the comments below. What are you seeing? Go ahead and put in some of your old shipments in there and let me know what you're seeing in your account. All right, last article of the day is actually just a post from LinkedIn. I wanted to give a shout out to Jason from VitaCup, and he talked about the release of Amazon's 3D photos. You know, this was something that we talked about like about 4 or 5 months ago when they announced it at Amazon Accelerate, and now he is reporting that he's seeing it out there in the wild. Now, we actually saw this a couple of days ago because when I was setting up that brand rights that I talked about earlier, how I had to give rights to do that to my sub accounts. This was one of those new ones that you have to give rights to. So if you guys are giving rights to see the brand, go ahead and click this 3D models thing. You have to have the seller app, and then it's going to allow you to take pictures from all sides using your mobile phone, and then it's going to allow you to be enrolled in this 3D beta that Amazon has going right now. So take a look to see if you guys have access to that. Now, the reason why I wanted to give Jason a shout out here was he's actually going to be a special guest next week in a keyword research webinar. He's an 8-figure seller, and he's going to give us his best keyword research strategies. That's just one of the many online and offline events coming up for myself and the evangelist here at Helium 10 over the next few weeks. Shivali now is going to let you guys know of all the other events that's going on.
Hi there. We have tons of online and in-person events over the next couple of months, so let's just quickly run through them so you're in the know and can potentially even plan ahead. First up, we have the virtual $1 Billion Seller Summit from February 20th to the 22nd. Bradley is a speaker, and if you plan to attend his session, you can take $150 off the price by using the coupon code BDSS2024. Again, that's just BDSS2024 at h10.me/BDSS. You can also sit down with Bradley at the Seller's Edge training this upcoming week, where he's going to start a conversation with a guest 8-figure seller, and they're going to talk shop on keyword research strategies for Helium 10, Amazon Product Opportunity Explorer, search query performance, and so much more. Get registered at h10.me/edge2. The 2 is just the number, and it's not spelled out. On March 1st to 2nd, if you're interested in remotely anything Walmart and you're located on the other side of the world from me, perhaps you'll be able to make it out to Ecom Seller Summit and say hello to Carrie, who will be speaking. Visit h10.me/Australia to grab a ticket. You can use her name Carrie as a code to save $50 and catch her session in person. The week right after Australia, we have the Prosper Show in Las Vegas, where Bradley and Carrie are speaking, but all three of us will be there. Go to h10.me/Prosper to reserve a spot. And come swing by the Packview and Helium 10 booth so we can get acquainted. Don't be shy, even if you see us just walking around. Now, if Vegas is too far for you, as is Australia, then I have the perfect in-between event for you, and that is going to be held from March 13th to 16th in Prague, Czech Republic. I'm opening up the conversation for strategic innovation that leads to increased profits and so much more. The link for this event is h10.me/Prague. You can use my code Shivali50 for a €50 discount. If you don't know how to spell my name, that's SHIVALI 50 for a €50 discount. There will be an Amazon-sponsored seller meetup in Manila, Philippines, so save or mark the date for March 21st. Bradley will be attending, but we don't have a sign-up page yet. We'll keep you posted, though. And I will also be speaking at Amazing Days Summit and attending the e-commerce Balkans Summit in Sofia, Bulgaria. That's going to take place on April 3rd, 4th, and 5th. These two events are just days apart, so perhaps it's the perfect excuse you need to come out and spend a week in Bulgaria. If you'd like a ticket, go to h10.me/Bulgaria and use the code Helium10 for a 10% discount. The last couple events you can anticipate some more in-person Bradley time are going to be the 7-Figure Seller Japan Mastermind in Okinawa on April 8th to 10th, and then also Seller Velocity on May 1st and 2nd in New York. I might make it out to Japan, but it's still up in the air, so I guess you'll just have to come out to find out. The link to learn more about the Japan event is h10.me/Japan. However, Bradley will definitely be speaking at Seller Velocity, as you can see here. So naturally, I've got a code for you, and that's going to be Bradley First in all caps. You can put that into motion at h10.me/Velocity. Look, guys, at the end of the day, each of these events are packed with incredible sessions, knowledgeable expert speakers, and the invaluable opportunity to network. And honestly, I couldn't tell you just how many connections I've made by attending these events and the strategies I've learned to implement into my own business so I can take it to the level I'm hoping towards. So really, if you can come. We'd love to meet you in real life, and we'll see you there.
All right, thank you, Shivali, for those events. I hope to see you guys at some of them. One quick thing, guys, if you didn't get our notice, we have a new message board or forum that is on our website. So sign into your Helium 10 account and then go to forum.helium10.com, and you'll be able to post messages there, interact with other Helium 10 users, and see some announcements and strategies that myself and Carrie and Shivali are doing. So again, forum.helium10.com. All right, let's get into our Helium 10 new feature alerts. The new tool that Helium 10 is coming out with right now is probably the most asked for tool last year, 2023, of when I was on the road, people asking about this. And something even beforehand I had in mind. Now, before I get into how to use a tool, it's kind of important to understand the background of how we even came up with this. This wasn't like my idea or something, but it's something that's been on my mind for a while. Now, as you guys may or may not know, I used to run the content team here at Helium 10, and now I still write blogs to help out the content team. And something we've always used is this software. The one that we're using right now is called Surfer SEO, and it's really cool. Like we have blogs for SEO, right? And it gives me all of my kind of like titles that I need to have, and then all of the main keywords that I need to put in blogs. And it tells me how many times I need to use it, where I have to put it. And as I'm writing my blog, it gives me this score of how I'm going to be ranking for Google SEO, and it tells me also how I'm doing compared to other blogs about the same subject. And so I've always thought, well, like that would be kind of cool thing to have for Amazon sellers, and Amazon sellers thought the same way. One of the, as I was touring, everyone said, hey, we like a tool that allows us to kind of like take, the best keywords from Helium 10, but then helps us to understand where we need to put it in the listing and how it kind of stacks up for the Amazon algorithm, and then how my competitors are doing it. All right. So I'm going to show you guys how to use this new tool. It's in Listing Builder. But let me just tell you right off the bat, like I actually spent, like 4 months on a case study making like more than 150 listings in different accounts and trying all these different things to kind of like the best I can decode the Amazon algorithm to see, hey, what forms of words work best for the Amazon algorithm? What helps the ranking? What kind of frequency? What does it matter where the keywords are, etc. So I did a lot of work on this, but let me just say there is nobody out there, myself included, who can tell you exactly how the Amazon algorithm works. It doesn't work that way. All right. It's not like I can just give you an exact formula. But what I've been able to do here is get it to a formula here that will give you the best chance at having good SEO for your Amazon listing. All right. So where you find this tool is now in Listing Builder. All right. Now you're going to see a little bit of different things here. There's some things that based on when you're seeing this video, it might be different later on, like these colors might be gone. You're going to have the number here of how many times the keywords came up. We'll update this video later once this tool is fully finished. Like I said, it's in beta. But the first thing you do is just like you normally do with your keyword research. You're first going to get all your best keywords from Cerebro, whatever other tools you have, stick them all now into Listing Builder. Before, I didn't have you do that. Remember, I said, hey, only get your 20 best keywords, right? And then the rest of the keywords, just find the individual words. That's no longer. With this new tool, you can go ahead and throw all of your keywords into Listing Builder at once. You don't have to separate the best and the worst. One of the reasons why is because now we have the Cerebro Competitor Performance Score. Again, this is from Cerebro, and it tells you what are the most important keywords for this niche based on what the listings are all ranking for very highly. All right, so I put all 116 phrases right here. Okay. I also see the search volume, and it breaks it down here on the top to all the 1 and 2 and 3 word parts of these phrases so that I can see, hey, what are all of the individual keywords that are showing up here? What are the 2 and 3 word phrases that show up in multiple phrases? Now, after you get your keywords in here, you scroll down, you're going to see your original listing quality score. If I already made my listing here on the right-hand side, and that's just based on Amazon best practices, like, how many characters in your title, things like that. But the new part here, click on keyword performance rank. And what you're going to want to do is add your competitors. Okay, so this is something new. So this here is a bat-shaped bath mat that I was doing. So I went to Amazon and I wanted to put in all of the top bat mats here. And I just pasted all of the ASINs, or I could have just selected it right here in this add competitor section. And now instantly, based on these keywords that I already got from Cerebro, it is going to give me a score for every single one of these competitor listings that we see right up here. And I could see like actually the number one listing just happens to be the product that is selling the most. All right. So it kind of shows that, hey, this formula is a pretty decent indication on how you might be doing in the niche potentially. All right. So that's what you're going to see right here when you click on keyword performance rank. And then once I make my listing, now it's going to give me a score. So right now I'm not first. All right. I might need to tweak my listing a little bit. This is only version 1 of my listing. It says I'm second out of 10 competitors. All right. Now, if you want more detail on what is going into this keyword performance score, well, it is based on a lot of these kind of like match types. There's 5 of them that I kind of pinpointed with all of my tests that I was doing. And it also has to do with where in the listing it is. Title is the absolute most important. Search volume is something that is factored into the score as well. Bullet points is the next, and then description, right? And then you get different points based on the search volume. And then the highest points for a keyword is exact match. Like if the word is coffin shelf, you put coffin shelf and that's an exact match. The next one that you also get points is plural or singular match. So like it's coffins shelf or coffin shelves, right? Next is a phrase match, but a partial phrase match. All right. So it gets really down and dirty, guys. Like I did a lot of work trying to come up with this formula. So when you get into this tool, put your mouse over the little eye, the little information, and you will see kind of like what all of these different match types mean. And then as you are making your listing, you will literally see this score change based on these factors right here. Now, remember, keyword stuffing is not suggested. I did see that some kind of like duplication of keywords is good in some circumstances, but you're not going to get extra points by putting the same keyword 5 times in a listing. The first time you put it, and if it's in phrase form, that can get you the most points. If you have it again, that actually can kind of like let Amazon know you're especially relevant for it. So you are going to get some credit, but as you play around with the score, you'll see that it's not the full credit as if you like the same one that you put in the title. Now, again, I'm not going to sit here and say, hey, for a fact, if you get the top keyword performance rank out of your competitors, that's going to guarantee that you're going to get the most sales. Obviously, a lot more things have to be considered when you're talking about getting sales on Amazon. But this is what I came up with, and our data scientists. I'm not smart enough to make like full formulas here. I had to get the data scientists' help. But this is what we found will give you the best chance to really make sure that Amazon knows that you're relevant. I'm going to have a few workshops coming up on just general listing optimization techniques. But once you have all that down, this is what is going to help you really bring your keyword research and your listing optimization to get the best bang for your buck. So I want you guys to try out this tool. Like I said, it's in beta right now. New things are being added to it every day. If you have a diamond account or higher, elite members have been playing with this for weeks, but now it's to a point where like, hey, if you're diamond or higher for now, we want to get your feedback too. So please give this a spin. And then if you have any questions or comments on it, reach out to customer support and let them know about it. And we'd love to hear from you to see what you think about this tool that everybody was asking so much for the last year or two. All right, guys, thank you very much for joining us on this edition of the Weekly Buzz. We'll see you next week to see what's buzzing.